Hey friends and neighbors, we're going to be in the key of C on the guitar backup for Patreon folks. Great tune from Kentucky. John Masters played it and learned it from Jim Booker some way or another. And I think you'll have a lot of fun doing it. Camp Nelson Blues. And we'll get Erynn to play it for us right now.
Yeah, bluesy number.
And so the nice thing about the blues numbers, you can kind of do a lot of different things and they all kind of work. As long as you keep going, it's going to sound bluesy. So that's a good thing. So we'll try it, and whatever we do is going to be good. We're going to claim.
And it's a little crooked.
A little crooked, so we'll give it a shot. Camp Nelson Blues. Oh, thank you. That's bluesy. Thank you, Erynn.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I hope I got
like
all the crooks in the right crooked spot.
I think it sounded just right. That's the thing about the blues. You can do a lot of different things. They all sound just right. So anything works. So we'll explore a few things. One thing, it's got some nice little phrases. We might could find some of those phrases in the backup. I think that's one thing we might seek out and see how we do. So we're in the key of C. So one thing, let's just explore for a second. I'll hold my guitar up here. Your C chord. A nice thing to know when you're playing a bluesy number is where are the bluesy notes, to play like a bluesy C chord. So the nice thing to notice, you got a C and an E and a G. And you have that phrase, so let's start from that G and going up to the 3rd fret, you get the 5 and a jazzy note, the 6 and a flat, the bluesy 7. So playing my C chord, and I reach my little finger over there on that 3rd fret, 3rd string, and you got a nice C7. So we might want to throw that in there somewhere, especially where it goes to the F chord. That's a good way to get to your F chord. Okay, so we'll put a C7 in there in a minute. And if you're doing a G7, of course, I always like to get people thinking about 2 different ways. You got a G, high G there. If you go back a whole step, you get a bluesy flat 8 down to flat 7. And it's always a half step at the top of a scale. A pretty note. But if you want that to be bluesy, you have to lower that pretty note, flat it 1 fret, and that's a G7. So anywhere you have a G, so you can find a G7 that way. When you're playing your regular G, a G7 is going to be, you can do it different fingering, but like that. So we'll use that G7 in there somewhere. One other thing I'll mention before we even work on the backup is just doing the, for your G7, you might walk to any note of the chord. I might go to the 4th string, the drony 5th note. And we should go ahead and think about, when we went to a bluesy C chord, we started on that 5th note, 1, 3, 5. So it's a little boogie woogie territory. And it looks like a triangle there. So you can play it lower strings or higher string. Anyway, let's just get our C chord going here. So it starts on it, and they jump in on the first. It comes in early. 1, 2, 3, boom, slides in early. But we're going to be on that C note, and just notice our C. We can always do a C with the lower dancing the bass, right? So you have that nice low bass dancing your 3rd finger, or going to the 4th string. So we're going to do that for first. Let's just start with that, and you can always walk up, come back around to that little. So let's just do our C, kind of slow. Maybe dance the bass low. Do, 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 do. Just do that for a few times. And we're going to get to a G7. I'm going to do that 4th string down and walk back to C. So let's make that a little pattern, and that would work in this tune. So let's walk up to C. Do, dance the bass low a few times. Do, do. then I'm gonna walk that bass, 2, 1, open 4th string in the bluesy G note up there, G7, and walk back to C. And then the thing about this tune that you have to keep in mind is it has a little bit crooked, and so you really got 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and you're starting over. So it has that extra little. So let's just do that's the first line of our fiddle tab. There's your fiddle notation she has in the Patreon. So we'll walk up. Ba, da, 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 da. We're gonna walk the bluesy note down here. And you're gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and you're starting over. So just that one pick strum is that 2 beats, and you're back to thinking the start of the tune. Da, 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 da. Ba, da, 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 da. And this time you have the 3, 4. Instead of 2 beats, it's gonna keep going. We're gonna put a bluesy C in there because it walks down. That C7 is gonna lead us to an F chord. Okay, so I'm gonna do that again, and that's the end of the first part, really. Twice there, walk down, 4th string, 2, 1, open, and back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Ba da 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 da. Ba da ba ba da da da. 1, 2, 3, 4. C7. F chord is going to come up right here, and I'm going to use again. You could dance the bass, and on the you really have let's see, 1, 2, 3. You have 4 nice measures of F, and what I like to do is get a little thumb hook F in there. You could always dance the bass and get that low. A little hard to get that from me. My thumb's too short to do it, but I do it anyway, even if it's a little muffled. It sounds good in a bluesy number. So I'm gonna go dance my 3rd finger down, 4th and 5th string, and then get my low bass, and then we'll walk back to C. Let's see if that's enough time. So 1 time, alternate. That's 1 measure, 2 measures, the lows, 3 measures, and half, and you're back to C. Okay, try that a few times. Maybe twice there, and the low bass, thumb hook, and you got a pick strum and walk to C. And then you're gonna have 2 measures. See, so you got 2 measures C. It gets down to a bluesy G again. We might do the same walk. We might walk. You know, we'll experiment. So let me see. So we got the F, and you have a nice the F part. You can really tell from the fiddler because it has nice. And you have a. So let's see, F. Ba, 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 da, da. Ba, da, 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 da. Ba, da, 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 ba, ba, ba. We'll just do our same walk we did. And you got 3 measures, I think, and you're back to C. Is it 3? I think it's even 4 measures. So you got a long G there, so we'll experiment with that a little bit too. So let's see, there's the melody of the G part. That's a little late. To see there, so G ba 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 wait ba 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 ba. Maybe we'll try a long walk back to C. I love to get a long walk in there somewhere, and then we maybe explore a little bit of phrases that are in the tune. So let's just and when you're first getting a crooked tune figured out, you know what I'm doing is kind of looking at how many measures of each chord, like a chord chart's a good. I'll leave it up to you to think about making a chord chart, because I'll do it a lot of times for everybody, but think about getting just a piece of paper and writing out for each 4 beats, you got a slash, you know, a diagonal line. So for that G phrase, 1, 2, there's 1 measure, 2 measures, 3 measures, and then we can do our long bass walk. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want to be back to C. And you're back to that 4 beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, starting over. You're into that slide and the start of tune. So I'll go real slow and we'll see what we have here so far. So twice, bluesy walk, 4 string, G7, walk to C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, start again, bluesy walk, G7, this time you have C7, 4 beats, F, low bass if you like, so back to C, B, starting over there. Bluesy walk and back to some 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Bluesy walk, 4 beats. F. I get a low thumb and maybe walk back to C. Starting over, you get the idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 beats. And we're just getting that pattern. Bluesy F. Bluesy G, 2, 3, 4. Second measure. Third measure and a long walk back to C. So let's think about a couple of phrases in there. That one thing that the F phrase is so cool on that, you know, gets up to there. So I'll tell you what might be nice. We might get might be nice on the guitar if we did that. You don't want to do it too much because the fiddler, you don't want to take away the fiddler's bluesy glory there. But if I'm doing that low thumb, so let's just try that that little F lick playing it low. If you had him that thumb hook low, it sounds kind of like you're on the out riding the range in the in the west there. All of a sudden, you're getting your galloping along with your horse. And you're back to C. 2 measures of C gets that bluesy G. Here's the melody. And a nice thing at the end, you just only got that. At the end, you might want to. You might drag it out and have a long C kind of phrase there. So I think I'm going to try it with that. And you walk down that G. You could have. 2 beats in your back. So one really good thing about a cricket tune to pass along, I think, is you'll. The more once you really know the tune, it's going to be easier to do, you know, experiment and do different things. But when you're first getting it, you might just have some, you know, really patterns like we have on that first part. We're just dancing that low bass twice, right? And then we walk down to that bluesy, right? Back to C. So our first pattern, remember, was that dance the bass twice, walk the 4th string down and back to C, and you got that 2 beats. You know, that's a pick strum, and you're starting again. Right, so we got that as a pattern, and you could depend on that at first. But remember, later on, you could do different alternate basses and stuff. So let's look at on the repeat. Remember, you had 4 beats going. That's C7, bluesy C7. Remember, that was just your C and that little triangle. That takes you to F, right? So second time around the first part, da 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 da. Walk that 4th string down and back to C, and you got 4 beats, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got that, you know, melody on there. The fiddle's walking down to that F, so you can really hear that note. And you're doing that, doing the C7 for that little descending phrase. Your F chord. We dance the bass, and I had a low, and we walk to C. Down. We use our same walk. 2 measures, 3 measures, and a long walk back to C. 2 beats starting over here. Bluesy walk to G and back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 beats starting again. Bluesy walk back to 1, 2, 3, 4, the bluesy C and F. Bluesy walk to G, 1 measure, 2 measures, 3 3 measures and a long walk back to C. And notice that so you're getting some good ideas. One thing too, just in your chord, when you're playing a C chord, you got all kinds. Any of those notes are kind of chromatic notes. The notes between the chord tones are all kind of bluesy, right? That's a good thing. So experiment with making up a bluesy, just play a C chord, or you could do this just on your voice memo on your phone and just try to find some bluesy, right? So you can just start noodling with the C phrase and not even worrying about what you're doing as much as just descend or climb and have fun with it. So I think Camp Nelson Blues, just take it kind of, each fiddler might play, Erynn's playing this on the kind of a moderate to slightly peppy, which sounds great. But try to get that melody in your head as soon as you can. And notice when it's crooked, it really helps to have that 1, 2, 3, 4, that 2 beats, and you know you're starting again. And having those walks in place, right? Okay, and that long walk, and you could also do, let's see, one last thing. So I could do a long walk to that G. Da, 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 da. Ba, da, 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 bo, bo. Just remember when you're doing a long walk, you got to start earlier. You got to time it right. So that's where knowing the melody is going to help you there. But I think you'll enjoy Camp Nelson Blues. It's a lot of fun. C's a great key for happy and bluesy stuff, any kind of tune really. So if you hadn't played in C much, I think you'll find this might be a nice gateway into wanting to play in C more often. So enjoy Camp Nelson Blues and experiment with the chords you already know and putting the finger down or lifting one up and seeing what kind of sounds you get. And you might be amazed at with little change of your fingering, you get some really cool, putting some melodic enhancement in there. So anyway, cheers for now. I'll see you next time. Thanks.